Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're all about uh, uncovering the magic behind Pinterest for your business.
Yeah, using Pinterest the right
We're
way.
going to be going deep on how to use it to drive traffic to your online business.
That's right.
I think you're going to find, like I did, that it's way more than just pretty pictures.
Definitely. Yeah. It's time to forget about the idea that it's just for recipes and DIY.
Exactly. You already know some of the basics, I know, but we're going deep today
Yes.
into this really amazing guide that we're looking at. And one of the things that surprised me right off the bat,
Okay.
did you know that Pinterest has 450 million active monthly users? That's almost 500 million people who are just like ready to find inspiration and products and services too.
It's wild. It's like this massive shopping mall,
Yeah.
and it's full of people who are ready to buy.
I love that analogy. Okay, so big audience, ready to engage. What's the first step? What do we do?
Well, the foundation, the first thing you got to do is get a business account on Pinterest. It might seem obvious, but it's really important.
You know, I have to admit, I'm still using a personal account for my business.
Okay.
Is that like a big deal?
Well, think of it this way. A business account, it's like getting into the VIP lounge.
Hmm.
You get special access, you get Pinterest analytics to see what's working, you can run ads, target more customers.
Oh, analytics. Okay,
Ah.
yeah, you had me at analytics.
It's a game changer.
Now, the guide talks a lot about optimizing your profile. I'm guessing keywords are a big part of that, right?
Absolutely. You got to think of Pinterest as a visual search engine. Just like Google, people are using keywords to find what they want.
So is it like just putting keywords everywhere in
Mm.
my bio and all the board names and descriptions?
Yeah, you got it. But you have to be strategic about it. Don't just stuff them in randomly. Think about what your ideal customer would actually search for.
Okay, that makes sense. So like if I was selling, I don't know, handmade jewelry, I'd use keywords like statement earrings or boho necklace or gift ideas.
Exactly. And don't forget about your board titles and descriptions. Each board should focus on a specific niche, and the keyword should reflect that.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's keywords. What else do we need to know about optimizing for search?
Well, one thing that really blew my mind was the role of image recognition technology. Pinterest can actually analyze your pins and identify the objects and themes.
Whoa, 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 wait. Hold on. You're telling me Pinterest can like see my pins?
In a way, yeah. It means
Yeah.
it's not just about the text anymore. The images themselves have to be high quality and relevant.
So if I'm pinning like those statement earrings we talked about, the picture should actually show the earrings, not just, a random picture.
Exactly. The more specific and relevant your pictures are, the better Pinterest understands what your pins are about. And that means more people will find them.
Image recognition, wow. That's pretty amazing, but kind of scary too. What if I'm not like a professional photographer? Can I still make good pins, ones that people will actually click on?
Of course, you don't need a fancy camera or like years of design experience to create pins that work. The guide we're looking at has some really simple design tips that anyone can use.
Okay, good. Like what are some of the secrets?
Well, the first thing is to stick to Pinterest's recommended pin size, which is 1,000 by 1,500 pixels.
Okay, I'll write that down. What else?
Use high-quality pictures. They don't have to be professionally shot, but they should be clear, well-lit, and visually appealing. And think about the colors and fonts you use, too. Bold colors and easy-to-read fonts will make your pins stand out.
See, that's where I struggle. I love like minimalist designs, but I always worry they're going to get lost, in the feed.
That's a good point. Minimalism can definitely work, but you want to make sure your pins have enough contrast to pop. Try a bolder font or a bright color to draw the eye.
Okay, good tip. What about text, like on the picture itself? Is that a good idea or should I avoid that?
Text overlays can be really effective, especially if they use your keywords or say something about the benefits, like why someone should click. Just make sure the text is big enough to read easily on a phone.
Okay, that makes sense. This is all really helpful. I feel like I could actually make some good pins now.
You totally can. And remember, there are also tons of pre-made templates out there. If you're feeling stuck, a template can be a great way to get started.
I love a good shortcut. Speaking of shortcuts, how do we keep up with all this without it becoming like a full-time job? I mean, the thought of constantly creating new pins is a little overwhelming.
Yeah, I get that. But here's the thing, and the guide actually talks about this. You don't have to pin every hour of the day to see results.
Really? I always thought that the more you pin, the better.
Consistency is definitely important, but quality is more important than quantity. So instead of just pinning a bunch of random stuff, focus on creating really good pins that your target audience will actually love. And to make things even easier, try using a scheduling tool like Metricool.
I've heard of those, but never used one. What's so great about them?
A scheduling tool lets you plan out your pins ahead of time. You can literally set it and forget it. So you could like batch create a whole week's worth of pins and then not have to worry about it for the rest of the week.
Oh, that's awesome. Now that's my kind of strategy.
Right. Efficient and effective. And here's another tip for working smarter, not harder. Repurpose content. If you have a blog post that's doing well, turn it into a few different pins. Or if you made a cool Instagram reel, share it on Pinterest too.
So basically, instead of always starting from scratch, I can use stuff I've already made.
Exactly. It's all about getting the most out of the content you create. And speaking of getting the most, let's talk about data. I know you love data.
Hit me with those insights. What do we need to know?
Pinterest has these great analytics tools that can tell you so much about how your pins are performing. You can see which ones are getting the most clicks, the most saves, the most repins, and even what's sending traffic to your website.
Okay, but if I'm being honest, sometimes all those numbers just make my eyes glaze over. What are the most important things to look at?
I would start by looking at your top performing pins.
Mm.
Like, what do they have in common? Maybe they all use certain design elements or they're focused on the same topics.
So I should be looking for patterns and trends.
Exactly. You can also track which keywords are bringing people to your website. That's really valuable information because it tells you what people are searching for and how you can create content they're actually looking for.
Okay, so it's not just about like randomly posting stuff and hoping for the best. It's about being strategic.
Absolutely. Analytics are not just about vanity metrics like followers and likes. They're about understanding your audience and what makes them tick.
Okay, so we're creating amazing pins, we're posting consistently, and we're using our analytics to track our progress. What's next? How do we actually make money from all of this?
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Hmm.
The guide really emphasizes that getting people to your website is just the first step. You have to make sure that traffic is turning into customers and ultimately sales.
So it's not enough to just get people clicking on my pins. I have to lead them somewhere, like get them to sign up for my email list or buy something.
Exactly. You want to create what we call a seamless user journey. Think about what happens from the moment someone clicks on your pin to the moment they land on your website. Is it easy for them to find what they're looking for? Is your call to action clear?
Gotcha. So it's all about aligning my Pinterest strategy with my overall business goals.
Exactly. And remember to create a cohesive brand experience across all your platforms. Your Pinterest profile should feel like an extension of your website and your other social media.
It's all about creating a consistent brand, right? One that people recognize and trust.
Now let's talk about something that can really help you reach more people on Pinterest. Promoted pins. Have you ever thought about using them?
Honestly, I've been a little intimidated by the whole advertising thing. It just seems, I don't know, complicated and expensive.
I totally understand. But promoted pins don't have to be scary. They can be a really effective way to give your best performing pins a boost.
So it's like giving them a little extra push to get seen by more people.
Exactly. And what's cool about Pinterest ads is that you can be really specific about who sees them. You can choose certain demographics, interests, even keywords to make sure your pins are getting in front of the right people.
Oh, okay. That's way better than just throwing money at some random ad campaign and hoping for the best. Tell me more about how that works.
Well, let's say you're selling those boho necklaces we talked about earlier. You could target people who are interested in fashion, jewelry, bohemian style, maybe even specific events like weddings or festivals.
So I can really zero in on the people who are most likely to be interested in my stuff.
Precisely. And the best part is you can track everything. You can see exactly how your ads are performing and what kind of results you're getting.
Wow, it's like having a superpower. I can see what people are thinking.
It's a powerful tool, for sure. But remember, promoted pins are most effective when you're already doing all the other things we've talked about, like creating great content and optimizing for search.
So it's not about replacing all the other stuff, it's about adding to it. Okay, I get it. This has been so helpful, but I'm still a little overwhelmed. If I had to pick one thing to focus on first, what would you say it is?
If I had to pick one thing, it would be to stop thinking of Pinterest as just a social media platform. Think of it as a visual search engine.
Yeah, that's huge. Once you get that, it changes everything about how you approach Pinterest.
Totally. So for our listener, what are the key things to remember for Pinterest SEO?
Okay, so first, keyword research. Think about what your ideal customer would actually search for on Pinterest. Use those search suggestions, see what comes up when you start typing.
Gotcha. And then once I have those keywords, where do they go? Everywhere. Your bio, your board titles, your descriptions, your pin titles and descriptions. And remember, Pinterest can analyze your images too, so make sure they're relevant.
So, like, if I'm selling jewelry, my pictures should show jewelry, not just some, like, random picture of a beach or whatever.
Right. The more specific you are, the better. Pinterest needs to understand what you're all about.
Makes sense. So, besides keywords, what else can I do to make my pins, really stand out and get those clicks?
Design, design, design. But it doesn't have to be complicated. Stick to that recommended pin size, use good quality images, and experiment with colors and fonts. Make them bold, make them easy to read.
Oh, and I learned that even minimalist designs can work.
They can, as long as you have enough contrast, make it pop a little bit.
Okay.
And don't forget about text overlays. Those can be super effective.
Yeah, like a little call to action right on the pin. Okay, so now, let's be real for a second. How do we stay on top of all of this without it taking over our lives? I mean, Pinterest can be a lot.
I hear you. The key is to be consistent, but also use tools to your advantage. Scheduling tools are a lifesaver. You don't have to pin every single day, but when you do, make sure it's good quality stuff.
Scheduling tools, I need to check those out. Okay, any other time-saving tips?
Repurposing content. If you have a blog post, turn it into a few different pins. If you made a great Instagram reel, share it on Pinterest too.
So I don't always have to start from scratch. I can use what I already have. That's great.
Exactly. Work smarter, not harder. And speaking of working smart, let's talk about data one last time.
Okay, hit me. What do I need to know?
Use Pinterest Analytics. It's your best friend. Look at your top pins. See what they have in common. Pay attention to which keywords are bringing you traffic.
So it's not just about, like, vanity metrics. It's about figuring out what's actually working.
Right. And Pinterest makes it really easy to track all of that.
This has been so helpful. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of Pinterest now. What's one final piece of advice you would give to someone who's just getting started?
Don't be afraid to experiment. Try new things. Pinterest is always changing, so what works today might not work tomorrow. Just keep learning, keep tracking your results, and you'll figure it out.
That's such good advice. It's a journey, right? Figuring out what works for your business.
Exactly. And most importantly, have fun with it. Pinterest is all about visuals, so create beautiful things and enjoy the process.
Well said. This has been such an insightful look at Pinterest for business. We hope you learned a lot today and that you're feeling inspired to take your Pinterest strategy to the next level. Until next time, happy pinning.